Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Francis E. Geyser Gymnasium.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Francis C. Geyser Gymnasium here on the campus of Eastern Connecticut State University.
If you're a fan of Eastern athletics and follow all the games that Eastern plays, this is a common phrase you may hear on your computers from watching the broadcasting club at Eastern. However, behind the scenes, there is one man who oversees it all.
This year's class of 4 seniors represents the second largest class.
Bob the Bullet Molta has been Eastern Connecticut State University's Sports Information Director for the last 35 years and taking care of business, to say the least.
Our job basically is to promote our athletes and promote their games. We do this by our website, which lists all of our stats, all of our game summaries, photographs, all of that stuff. And we're also somewhat of an archive. In other words, actually I'm working on right now our archives for all of our sports. And in our sports archives would list going back to the beginning of the sport. For instance, soccer going back to 1960. So we're sort of a promotional area, and we're also an area that is an archival area as well.
Throughout his long tenure at Eastern, Bob Molta has shown his dedication during seasons and off-season. For former director Emily St. Lawrence, she can attest to the hard work that he puts in each and every day.
If I could sum Bob up in one word, it would be dependable, because even when he didn't have to be there, he just always was. And we would kind of joke too that like his car was always at school, like during snow days and stuff. He was always just like putting in extra hours and doing like everything he could to do the best job he can.
Day in and day out, the qualities are still showing, and his current workers, like Jake Bolduc, notice everything that he has been doing for the program.
After every game, we get the highlight tape done and everything, and he's the one that really oversees all that. He was the one that want us to do it, and he just takes in such a big responsibility when it comes to like the social media aspect of the kids who play sports at Eastern. Even with the pandemic, he's posting so much on the online practices, scrimmages, wanting us to broadcast the scrimmages, just so like the parents at home can see their kids.
For the past 9 months, all of this has changed with the rise of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We just have to be creative. There's a lot of stories out there, and we have to report on those stories. And I think we did a pretty good job starting last spring and into this fall. So we did a series called Soldiering On. I had 2 really, really good interns who wrote stories on each of our fall teams, plus did a story on athletic training and how things were different. How were they getting through it? How were the coaches getting through the fact that they were allowed to practice, but they weren't allowed to play? It sort of proved that we don't have to have games going on necessarily to be able to tell the story of our athletic teams.
Though, on the bright side of things, Bob has been given plenty of time to work on things that he wouldn't normally.
Allowed to concentrate on things that I never normally would have been able to do at all. Starting in February, we were transitioning our web page over from Presto to Sidearm. And that's a very, very big job. And the fact that there was no games going on really helped us from that standpoint. Most of the teams regularly scrimmaged, and they would get their uniforms on, and they would go up against each other. So it had that feel of competition. And that's what we did, and that's what the sports broadcasters did as well. I had noticed that we had done, since August 21st, we took photographs of 21 different events and posted them to our website, from the fundraising golf tournaments that a lot of teams did to all the scrimmages. We did some swimming play-by-play as well. So we were able to really still promote our teams, even though there wasn't outside competition per se.
Looking forward to the future of athletics, in the midst of a global pandemic, there is much uncertainty. There is no telling what the school is going to do about the winter and spring, but regardless, Bob is preparing for anything.
It's anyone's guess, but if I was a betting man, I would say there's probably not going to be any winter competition, and hopefully we can shoot for the spring.
No matter what kind of spring or winter season the future holds, the only guarantee there is Bob has an everlasting impact on the past, present, and future directors of the program.
He is just a great role model, and he has a really great work ethic, so he exemplifies values that are really important in being an employee. But he also just knows how to put a smile on your face, just by asking how your day was or like what's new, what's going on. He's definitely invested in student success.
He always completes everything. He always does things 110%, and I've really learned from that. I feel like my work ethic, especially at the job that I work for him for, has improved, and seeing him put so much care into things makes me want to do the same thing.